bicep curls with supination. Supination means palms facing out or palms this way. It's a way of manipulating the radial ulnar joint, which is going to alter how the bicep contracts. So that's why you may change palm positions from palm being out to palm being in and things like that. So we're going to go over a standing curl with supination, palms out. I want to start with showing you some common mistakes. And that is one of the most common things you'll see in a bicep curl is as somebody bends their elbow will fall back behind them. And the problem with this is that since your bicep crosses your elbow joint, when your elbow falls back, it's going to reduce some of the tension that's on your biceps. And anytime you reduce tension, this is your body's way of making this easier. But the problem for your bicep is that it's going to get less work. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to work your biceps. So you don't want your elbow to fall back during a curl. The other thing you see is the opposite end of the spectrum. And that is as somebody curls and they get towards the top of the range, their elbow will move forward like this. And that's the same thing. So that is the deltoid flexing your shoulder and offloading your bicep at the top of the range, which also reduces some of the tension on the bicep, which makes it easier. And this is why we call these things cheating. So we don't want to go back with the elbow and you don't want to go forward with the elbow. You want to keep your elbow completely stationary as you perform your curls. So that has to be a focal point to maximize the tension on your biceps and ensure that you get the most from a bicep curl. So that's rule number one is let's keep our bicep as still as we can throughout the entire range of motion. And let's make things suck as much as we can for the biceps, because the more things suck and the harder they are, the more work your biceps are going to get and the more hypertrophy or muscle growth you're going to get as a result from making them work harder. So we're going to keep your elbow completely stationary and you're going to tighten your bicep first. You're going to squeeze through the range. You're going to find your max end range. So the point to where if I were to curl any more than this, my elbows are going to move. So I know this is my end range of motion for pure elbow flexion, which is what we're doing here in this bicep curl. And then I'm going to squeeze and hold at my end range. And then I'm going to control that weight all the way back to the starting position. So I'm tightening my bicep first. I'm squeezing through the range, squeezing at the top, and controlling back down. And your tempo doesn't have to be as slow as I'm going. You just have to ensure that you're keeping your elbow still and that you're fully engaging your bicep throughout the entire range of motion. So let's go over our 4-step rep. Tighten your bicep before you move. That's step one. So I'm pre-engaging my bicep. Step two is I'm going to tighten my bicep so hard that my arm starts to bend and I'm moving through the range. Step three is I'm going to squeeze my bicep as hard as I can at the top. And I'm going to hold this isometric for 1 or 2 seconds. And then step four is I'm controlling the weight all the way back to the starting position. Step one, tighten before you move. Step two, squeeze throughout the entire range of motion. Step three, squeezing at the top. And step four, controlling all the way back down. So this is how I would like you to perform a bicep curl. We want to get the most work from your biceps. So we want to work them as hard as we can. And this means alleviating any form of cheating or any form of compensation. So keeping your elbows still and walking through those 4 steps is going to help you achieve the most results from this exercise.